I talked a little bit about scaling your common postures, and we talked specifically about upper cross syndrome, which 90 to 95% of the population is walking around with this upper cross syndrome, or excessive curvature of the of the cervical spine, upper thoracic spine, and internally rotated shoulders. Okay, so the concept of scaling our postures is helpful when we're trying to put together a pain management program or a preventative care program for our clients. Those of you who are not practitioners but you're watching this video, it's important to work with your practitioners, whether it be a chiropractor, massage therapist, even your fitness instructors, working with your health team and coming up with a personalized plan for you, so that you're not overcompensating on your strong, tight muscles and undercompensating on your weak muscles. This is really, really important, especially for those of you who are fitness enthusiasts, or you're really, really athletic, or you play sports. It's even more important for you because, you know, like the old adage says, you know, you can't build a strong house on a shaky foundation. So most of the population is, you know, trying out all of these specialized fitness programs, and all of these fitness programs are great. I have no bias against any of them. However, the main concern I've always had as a practitioner is your foundation. So how strong are you, and how strong are you prior to coming into these specialty fitness programs? And are you focusing on your weaknesses, or are you overcompensating through this particular type of exercise with your strong muscles, your tight muscles? And is that over-exacerbating your current posture? Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say that I'm a rower. Okay, I come into rowing. So rowing is a lot of upper back work, right? So we're doing retraction. Ideally, we're doing retraction. Okay, when we are rowing, we're doing retraction. There's some stuff going on in the lower body. I'm going to focus on the upper body just to keep this simple. But if the job is to retract, and we go into rowing with weak retractors, which would be our rhomboids and our mid-traps, okay? So let's say we go into the activity of rowing with weak rhomboids and weak mid-traps. Most of the time, people who have weak rhomboids and mid-traps, which are your upper back muscles in between the shoulder blades, most people who are coming in with that are going to have tight upper traps, tight levator scap. All of their neck muscles are going to be pretty tight. And most people, we said in the last video, 90 to 95% of people are walking around with internally rotated shoulders due to our lifestyle, just the way that human beings live. Okay, we eat forward, we sit at our computers like this, we do everything with a lot of medial rotation of the shoulders and forward. Okay, so flexion. So the other things that will be tight are all of our internal rotators. So if all of these muscles are tight, and we go in and we do an exercise that is predominantly meant to use these muscles back here, and maybe our lats, our teres major, right? This is a rowing. Really good rowers know that having a really strong back is what is required to be a great rower, okay? So if you come into rowing already like this, you're going to start to overcompensate in these muscles here. You're going to start overcompensating in your upper traps. Your scalenes are going to be really tight. Your levator scap, your neck muscles, your internal rotators. And what the problem with that is that these muscles here are so much smaller than the muscles that are actually meant to be used for rowing. Okay, so if you walk in and you've got weak lats, and that's one of the biggest muscles in our back and yours are weak, you're going to start overcompensating in this small little tiny muscle right here. Compared to the lats, it's a pretty small muscle. So as you can see, it's extremely important to look at what your foundation is and look at your weaknesses and strengthen your weaknesses outside of the performance space. Okay, so before you go row, strengthening the rhomboids and mid-traps, or before you go perform as a rower, or you go to an event, activating your rhomboids, your mid-traps, your lats, your teres. So doing activation drills to ensure that you're using those muscles when you go to row. And then also mentally creating that awareness of the weakness in the back muscles. And then releasing all of these muscles here. Okay? Let's say that you are a runner. Okay? A lot of runners, I've noticed, this is just anecdotal, observation. I've noticed that a lot of people with a flat back posture tend to really love running. And so this is flat back posture here. Let's just say that this is a lateral view that I'm drawing here. And that's their bum. Okay? And they have hamstrings, hip flexors, there's their knees, whatever, and then their legs, okay? They might have a little bit of a belly, or maybe not, but their abdominals are usually pretty weak. Okay, so this particular posture here, what we're looking at is this curvature in here. There's little to no curvature of the lower lumbar spine with flat back posture. There's weak glutes, okay? So the glutes are really weak, and the abdominals are really weak. Weak abs, okay? So we've got weak glutes, weak abs, and then we've got tight low back, so a tight erectors, and the QL might be a little tight on that side, and usually the erectors are stiff and kind of holding the spine in place. And oftentimes as body workers or practitioners, massage therapists, when you're going in to release this, if you release it too much, oftentimes the person will come off the table and kind of feel a little vulnerable because, the body is adapting to this particular posture. It's stiffening around the spine to support the spine and to allow for, because of this compensation here. So because the person has weak abdominals, the low back has to overcompensate and has to stiffen up. So when us as practitioners, we go in there and we release all of that, you can actually put your client into an injury if you release too much of it and they're not activating these abs at home. Okay, so this runner, and my theory about runners that have flat back that love to run, it's really because your quads, your hip flexors, which are flexion of your they do flexion of the hip, right? And that's what you need to run, right? You need strong hip flexors, strong quads, strong hamstrings. IT bands are nice and strong. Usually these people have very little issues with their legs. They never really complain about their legs. Their hamstrings, they feel great. Everything feels great. At the very most, it usually will be, when it starts to get pretty bad, they'll start to have sciatic nerve will start to pinch, and maybe they'll start getting some radiating pain down into the hamstring, okay? So with this runner, this is a pretty shaky foundation. Although they feel really great running, and generally speaking, they don't have very many issues, when a person like this who has a flat back posture then goes to bend down to grab something and they're bending at the back, oftentimes these people with flat back will experience herniated discs. They'll have bulging discs. They'll have tons of issues in the lower lumbar spine. And we see this time and time again. So for a runner with flat back, what do we want to do? We want to strengthen these glutes and we want to strengthen the abdominals. Okay, the glutes are the biggest muscle in the body, and you're not using them. As a runner with flat back posture, you're missing out on a whole group of, I made a really big butt there, but you're missing out on a big group of muscles that could be aiding you and making you a better runner with less injury or less susceptibility to injury. And same with the abs. If this person goes in and starts strengthening those abs and really activating the abs before they go for a run, they're going to put less pressure on the low back. So when their massage therapist goes in and releases the erectors, they're going to have they'll have the support from the abdominals to hold them in place, and they won't get injured, and they can start to fix some of this this lumbar curve. Okay. Now, not everybody has a flat back that's a runner. I'm not saying that. But this is just another example of a common posture that we see and how it's so important as a runner or as an athlete in general to make sure that you're looking at your foundation prior to moving through your exercise routine. Thank you so much for watching this video. We look forward to seeing you in other videos. If you are a practitioner and you want to become part of our network, go ahead and click on one of the links below. We do have workshops coming up in the Boston area. They're free workshops. We are just looking to network with body workers and practitioners that are interested in this type of clinical massage and just interested in helping their clients have a better posture and better quality of life. Thank you so much for watching again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.